Hey guys, it's Christina, and I am so excited because I am here with celebrity makeup artist Katie Jane Hughes.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good because I get to get my makeup done by you.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much I need to do. Your skin's impeccable.
Oh, thank you so much. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here. It's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be so much fun. So Katie is going to do my makeup, and of course we want to hear from you guys. So please send us your questions and your comments because she knows everything. So what look are we going to do today?
We're going to do like a smoky, bronzy, coppery, full kind of transitional into the fall look. But it will work for summer. It will work for fall. It's kind of whatever you want it to be.
I love
it's
that.
Like a good base look. It's like a good makeup wardrobe look.
Great.
But the most important part is the skin prep. Without proper skin prep, I'm not a primer person generally. I believe in priming the skin properly with makeup. Priming the skin properly with skincare.
Okay.
And the first step I always will do is use something that exfoliates the skin mildly. So these are one of my favorite peel pads. They're from Elemis. They're called the Dynamic Resurfacing Peel Pads. And basically every single morning before I do my makeup, I actually personally cleanse my face every night, twice before I go to bed. I do a double cleanse situation with a cleansing balm. Every morning I just do one of these. I don't wash my face in the morning.
Oh no.
Because I don't like to disturb the skin's natural sort of pH and the balance of the skin. So I'll just take one of these all over
These are nice.
the skin. And they're really mild, they're not too exfoliating, so you can use them every day. And they literally will just resurface the skin over time and just help get it really smooth. Because you know, you can spend ages and ages with your skincare and then your foundation, but then if there's any dry skin on the surface of the face, you'll find that it will cling, the foundation might cling, you know, extra funky in certain parts where the skin is dry. So you want to pay extra attention to around the nose, around the mouth. You don't want to use anything that exfoliates too close to the eye, obviously.
Right.
But in the furrow of the brow and just anywhere where you've got just any like slight signs of aging, because that's where makeup and sort of dirt just can hang out. And you want to keep doing them until they come clean. I've already, this is not your face dirty, this is me putting makeup on you 10 minutes ago. But you wanted...
It's probably my face dirty too.
The idea, no. But it's crazy though, actually. Like, I go to bed and it's kind of crazy. Like, I did one of these this morning and there was still a little bit of residue on my face.
I feel like I can never get all the makeup off.
Well, because also, like, I feel like we do, like, people, especially for people like you and I, like, that work in this industry, we're putting makeup in a wider space than I think people generally do. Like, we're going into the hairline, we're going down the neck, and I think you forget that it's in those places.
No, that's so true.
So
these are nice.
Yeah, they're really good. Does it feel tingly or does it feel normal?
Feels normal.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you've got sensitive skin, anything that exfoliates can tingle a little bit, but that's completely normal.
Yeah.
It should feel like that.
And this is good. This makes your makeup set better when you...
It will just make the makeup have a much better lay down on the face.
Okay.
So then I'm going to use the Pro Marine Collagen Cream from Elemis as well. Elemis is one of my favorite British brands. Being a Brit, I really love British brands. I'm wearing a suit from one of my favorite high streets in London.
I love that.
Thank you. So I always will put the face cream on the high points of the face first. So I massage it into my hands and I put it on the high points because I'm building that highlightery kind of look from the base up. I'm always thinking about how I want the skin to glow throughout. And you know, 90% of us are oily through the center of our face because that's where our pores are bigger, and we're dry everywhere else. But obviously the dryness is kind of being combated by the peel pad. So I'm basically exfoliating in a very highlighter kind of manner, and I'm really sort of pushing a little bit of tension on the skin. This is the only part of the makeup where you should put pressure on the face. Because everything else should be like building a cake. And you're icing a cake, you shouldn't be putting pressure on. You shouldn't be putting pressure on the layers because you'll pull things around as you put them on. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later.
So you really got to work it in.
But then with what's left on my fingers, I take it over the T-zone. Because you don't want to ignore the T-zone either. You just want to hydrate the dry zones and kind of just address the oily zones, but you don't want to ignore them.
Got it.
And you don't want to dehydrate them. You want to just kind of, what's the word? You just want to like give them a little TLC,
give them a little love.
This is the new Peptide 4 Eye Recovery Cream from Elemis, and it's proven to get rid of dark circles, which is really, really cool.
I like that.
And I actually slept in this last night, and whenever I sleep in eye creams, I always wake up puffy, and I didn't with this.
Oh, really?
Because it's light. I'm just going to pop a little bit on the orbital bone.
So should you do this before you put your makeup on and before you go to bed?
Yeah, I think, I mean, unless it says that it's just for day or night, you know, with some eye creams are supposed to be just for day, some are just for night and so on. It's like if something's got SPF, you wouldn't wear it at night. But yeah, you just sort of press it into the orbital bone and really just sort of roll it in with your finger and look down. You can use it a little bit above. but it just like is super mild and light and not too rich, which I kind of like for underneath makeup. You don't want something too rich, because actually I get so many questions from like makeup wearers saying, how do I stop my mascara from transferring, you know, and stuff, and I'm like, well, first of all, what texture is your eye cream? Eye cream can really play a big part in the way that makeup wears throughout the day. It's like if it's too rich, the mascara can transfer, the concealer can crease, you know, it's like it has to be that right texture. But also, go ahead.
No, how do you find the right texture for you?
I think you just have to, I think it's a little bit of a trial and error situation. That's why I always like shopping at places where they have a good return policy and, you know, that kind of thing. And also sampling. Like, I feel like so many stores have a sampling program, which I think is really good. And they'll like put some in a pot for you. But you can always, like, let's say this isn't thick enough. I think it's always safer to go for something that's either a little bit not as thick as you would have wanted, but then mix a little bit of oil into it if it's not if it's not hydrating enough. Does that make sense? Because then you can cocktail it, as you should. You should cocktail everything. I'm just going to put a little bit of that same eye cream here just to hydrate those. And then we're going to start with complexion. So, do you have any questions?
This is like a skincare 101. I love it. Well, I think so many people neglect like the prep before they put the foundation and the concealer on, and it's so important.
It's really important. So I think foundation and concealer are very much the same thing, except for concealer tends to be a little bit fuller coverage than a foundation, depending on the foundation. So I use concealer as foundation. This is one of my new favorites. This is Power Play, and this is the G Medium 2 from Cover FX. And it's this perfect tiny little component. And I actually use concealer with a large eyeshadow brush. And I just buff it on, just because you've got maximum control. You've got all the control in the world.
Alex is asking, is it better to do foundation before eyes?
It is better to do eyes before foundation. However, I'm doing an eye that's got a cream base first. If you're going to go straight on with powder eyeshadow, you would definitely do the eyes first. Because it'll fall and it'll mess up your foundation. But I'm going to use cream, so therefore it's going to allow the powder that I'm going to put on. I mean, cream eyeshadows. But yeah, I think if you ever get that kind of situation where makeup starts to muddy up your concealer, you should always do your eyes before you do complexion.
Got it.
But you'll find professionals that do it for their job will just slightly just tweak the you know, the situation depending on what they're doing. So I always go around the nose and the mouth first, and I'll just sort of buff it in. And I always like to go a little bit warmer of a tone, specifically if somebody has a slight dark shadow. You don't have a dark shadow. You don't really have dark circles, in my opinion. But look up. I like to go that little bit warmer, because then when it does go under the eye, it really helps to brighten. Because warmth under the eyes is better than cool tones under the eyes. Cool tones just add to that blue that might live under there. And then with what's on my brush, I'm just going to buff it over the lid. Look up again. And if you do struggle with dark circles, this is what I always tell people. I always say, first of all, a really good eye cream obviously is helpful, and sleep and loads of water and all of those things. Sometimes dark circles can be hereditary. But what I always say is find a concealer that matches the cheek right there. So something that matches the skin on the cheek.
So and that's kind of like how you should always get your foundation. And then blend it up into the
eye. Because the thing is, I feel like we're so conditioned to use something super, super bright under the eye to counteract that dark circle. But if you put something too bright there to begin with, then it's going to enhance that dark circle even more. So you want to almost balance the shade under the eye with the cheek first, make it so that it's the same color all the way across, and then you can brighten after the fact if you want to.
Got it.
Or then again, if you found the method that works for you, then you shouldn't change it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to take advice from professionals with a grain of salt, because everything works for different people for different reasons.
And then so when you're using like the eyeshadow brush as as your foundation brush, is there like a method that you use? Because a lot of people use, you know, regular foundation brushes or sponges and things like that. So what's kind of like the method that you use?
I just kind of buff it in, and I'm always just working it close toward the lash line, but never like right up against, because that's where my eyeshadow is going to go. And it's perfect because you can really get right into the corners of the nose.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
I'm not missing anything, but it's allowing me to apply minimal product.
Sure.
I really like to see skin. I love to see skin texture. I think skin texture is a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. Amy is asking how often she should clean her brushes.
I will be honest. I am a makeup artist, and my brushes that I use on other people get cleansed after every single use. My own, I'm human. I have a busy life. I probably wash my brushes maybe once a week. But I would say if you've got breakouts or you've got troublesome skin, I would definitely wash them after every use.
Got it.
Because you'll just spread that bacteria around.
What kind of trends are you seeing for fall? Is it more like the natural look?
Yeah, do you know, I feel like we're just seeing a lot of I feel like trends in real life and trends on Instagram are two different things. I feel like, and I say I relate to Instagram just because that's where my world is, but I don't know, I feel like we're definitely seeing, you know, more funky color combinations, like mustardy kind of eyes, as well as, you know, like with cool contrast with a red lip, you know, it's playful. Right. It's definitely a playful place we're in. This is Soleil from Cover FX.
This is so pretty.
Shimmer Veil. So I'm going to press this on with a little brush. I'm going to I pretty much use the same size brushes for everything, so this is also what I would have used for your concealer. Okay. Go the chin up for me. There you go. And then I'm just going to press this on through the center of the eye. Oh my god, that's so nice. They're kind of the closest thing to a glossy eyelid without that actual glossy texture that you might not want.
Do you like using cream or powder eyeshadow, or does it just depend?
It depends on what I'm doing, but I feel like creams are a really good way to ensure that your makeup lasts for a really long time. And I think that powders, when I do my own makeup just in the mornings, I tend to pick one product and then build everything off of that one product, because I feel like I get the better result that way, because then I've not got any existing ideas of what I want to do. It doesn't stump me. I just like play, which always, and that's the beauty of makeup. It should be creative. It should be like a little play date with yourself, quite meditative. Right. It should be like that time for you in the morning, if you have it, even if it's 5 minutes. Oh wow, this looks amazing. But yeah, I kind of just I just pick a thing and go.
And just go.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Totally. And then you've done so many looks over the years. What's kind of been your favorite? Or can you pick a favorite?
My favorite is a look that I do on myself all the time. This is the beauty of Instagram for me, is any of my celebrity clients will find me, they'll look at my Instagram and pick a look based on what I've done on myself. And one of my favorite looks is something that I first did on a client of mine, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. It was a pink eye and a red lip. Yeah. It's just like a really fun color contrast. I'm just using a chocolatey brown with shimmer in it just to intensify the corners. I just love funky color combinations. It's kind of like my favorite thing about makeup. Right. It's just two color combinations that really, really work, but you wouldn't think that work.
It's nice to experiment.
Yeah, and it's like that, I think, and I think always keeping the skin fresh is really important too. Unless you like a heavy coverage, that's totally fine too. It's really personal preference. I like a heavy coverage sometimes if I'm going to an event or a party and I want, it's photo worthy.
But every day you don't need it.
Every day I just sort of do concealer where I need it, and then, like I did my skin today exactly how I just did yours. But I just maybe applied a tiny bit more on myself. Right. Because your skin is crazy amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm just pressing on the eyeshadow, and you always want to press it on and then blend it with another brush just to move it around. And you always want to try and not press very hard. You don't want to move the skin around. If you do too much of that and then the skin is folding and moving underneath the brush, then it's going to create inconsistencies in the way the eyeshadow looks.
Got it.
I'm just using my concealer brush just to pick up or clean up as I work. And then I'm just going to take, actually, that large brush again, put it down, and then I'm just going to press on more colour at the corner. And I really like to play, look at me, you've got really easy eyes to do makeup on, but if you've got a deep set eye or a fold in the eye, you have to do your eye with your eyes open looking into a mirror, because otherwise you don't know where it's going to fall. Right. It's like I've got eyes like that. So like, for example, if I do my eyes like that, they'll look perfect. If I do my eyes, if I do my eyes with my eyes closed, I'll open my eyes and eye makeup will go somewhere else. Okay. Because the fold of my eye will cover most of the work. So you almost have to like keep the eye really open and relaxed, especially if you're doing a wing or if you're doing anything smoky. Sure. Because you want to play above that space that way you can still see it.
Definitely. Lauren is asking, what fall colors can I use on brown eyes?
I personally think that brown eyes are the best in makeup because brown eyes can really carry off everything, because brown eyes are already a neutral. So you've pretty much got fair play, fair game with anything. But I think really beautiful greens, jewel tones, very rich kind of Hollywood tones, I think, are amazing on brown eyes. And you also don't have to, I mean, if color scares you, just like try a little bit at a time and do like a green, like a beautiful jade green liner, or, you know, a little bit of a blue kind of wing or something like that, and just really play with the idea of color. Just tweaks edge your way in. Yeah, I feel like people are so afraid to play with color. I know I am sometimes. I get it. Yeah. Sometimes color is like a lot. Right. Sometimes you don't want to let down. Sometimes it's just you just want to do a fresh skin. Sometimes I'll be looking at my face throughout the day and I'll be like, oh God, I just want to wash all my makeup off. And then I'll wash my makeup off and I'll do a really good skincare routine for 5 minutes and I'll be like, oh, this is so much nicer. Yeah. It really just depends on what you're feeling like that day. How and when did you fall in love with makeup? My mum was a singer, and she always used to wear red lipstick, black mascara, loads of it. She wore a foundation about 10 shades too dark for her skin. She still does. She somehow pulls it off, somehow blends. I don't know how she does it. And it was like then. It was just kind of like the time. It was just always ingrained in me from a little girl, like just watching makeup be applied and seeing that mum, you know, that was at home turn into this glamazon on stage and being this entertainer and loved and adored by all these people watching her. It was just, you know, just pushing a little bit of black into the root of the lash just to add a smokiness. Pretty. Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of a nice story.
That is, I love that.
So you always want to work into the root of the lash when you're doing anything dark, and then pull it up. You can use the same brush or you can use another. It doesn't really matter, but you just always want to keep it soft.
Dana's asking tips to make mascara not clump.
Some mascaras just are built that way, and sometimes it's like if you pump the mascara, that is going to dry a mascara out and make it clump quicker. I think that the best thing to do, honestly, is to have something like this, which is a mascara spoolie or an eyebrow brush, whatever you want, and comb through after the fact. Or you could do the same thing with like an eyelash comb.
Okay.
Or you just find or you can have, I often think 2 mascara formulas working together is good. Like I'll apply one thickening, full kind of gorgeous, you know, mascara, and then I'll go over with something that's like, what's the word? More lengthening, because it will pull through the stuff.
Nice. Melissa's asking what color should you use on blue eyes?
Blue eyes I think look incredible with warm tones. So anything, this kind of eye that I'm doing on you actually would look amazing on blue eyes as well. But blue eyes, green eyes, light eyes look incredible with red, orange, like gorgeous, gorgeous, rich, warm colors, literally. Blues and greens and jewel tones on light eyes just need to be framed with something that's a bit black. Just so that it at least has, just so that there's like a separation between the two.
Sure.
In a sense. So I'm just building the texture with a little bit of something sparkly right in the middle so that when you blink you get like a little reflect of it.
And then how come you're using your finger with this one?
Whenever I use anything that's powder and sparkly like this, your finger deposits the color much better than a brush.
Okay.
Because it's like almost wet. It's like a wet powder. Okay.
All right. Excited to see it.
So then, let's see it. I'm excited for you to see it. So I'm going to do a little bit of bronzer.
Okay.
Actually, sorry, every time I finish the eye, the first thing that I do, the last thing I do to finish the eye is to take a little bit more of the concealer on the back of the hand. This is the perfect sort of finishing smoky eye trick. And you just take a little bit on the brush, and then you just skim it around the eye. So you just basically frame everything that you just did.
Okay.
But you don't go on the shadow itself. You just go beyond it. But you tweak it toward it.
Okay.
And then it gives you this incredible blend.
It's like the perfect shape.
It's kind of, it just finishes everything off. And if you've got a lot of fallout from the eyeshadow, you can take a dry Q-tip and pick it up. Just buff it around the eye a little bit, gently. Okay. And you can take it up here really carefully. Just gives you, and then you can do the same around the mouth before you put lipstick on.
Nice.
And then I'm just going to do a bunch of mascara, just because you can't ever have too much of me. And I only put mascara on like this on somebody else, but yourself, I always just look down onto the wand and kind of blink on the wand. Do you do that too? Yeah. I feel like people in the media that do, like, where we have to do our makeup every day for work, that's kind of the way.
Right.
I used to watch my mom do the same thing.
Yeah, do you have any tricks for putting on mascara?
I think the best way to put mascara on, honestly, is to kind of do it without a mirror.
Right.
And almost like just feel it, because you should feel it in the root of the lash, otherwise it's not kind of getting in there. But if you're doing it on other people, then you just sort of use you do what you do, what I'm doing now. Or you just get a really, really good, like, full lash mascara. There's an amazing one right now that I use from Hourglass called Caution that literally gives you the craziest, thickest, blackest lashes.
Really?
Mascara is such a crazy category. It's like people are so dedicated to their mascara.
No, it's true.
It's like they don't change.
Once you have one.
Right. And everybody knows what their mascara is. It's like, oh, I'm Dior Show, or I'm this, or I'm YSL, whatever. Open? Oh, pretty. Do you like bottom lash mascara?
I do.
Okay, I'll let this dry and then I'll do bottom.
Ashley says liquid eyeliner or pencil?
Both. I would do liquid first. I would do pencil first and then liquid on top.
Okay. How come?
Because pencil's going to lay down like a nice base, and pencil's also much easier to clean off than a liquid. So I'm mixing two things together. I'm using the Custom Enhancer Drops from CoverFX, which are the highlighter, and then the Superfood Facial Oil from Elemis.
Nice.
And I've created a little palette on the back of my hand, and I'm turning this into a highlighter oil.
Oh, cool.
So this highlighter is like one of the most intense highlighters in the whole sort of highlighter category, and it really gives like the most insane shine, but I want it to be more like a wet shine, so I'm adding an oil because the oil is going to stop it from really sinking in.
Okay.
It's going to let it sort of live on the surface of the skin for a little bit longer, which is what you should always do. Like, use your skincare, mix it with your makeup.
Yeah.
So I'm putting a little dot through the whole line of the face.
Okay. How come?
Elongates the head.
Okay.
You actually have a really long head anyway, but it's like a trick that I just do. And a little on the cupid's bow, a little here, and then I'll turn your head that way, and then I'll just pop a little bit on the cheekbone. You don't want to go too close to the eye, because when it starts to sink into any like little fine lines around the eyes, it starts to be too visible in a certain kind of way. So you want to just do it on the cheekbone.
Okay.
And up into the hairline a little bit if you want to, just to make it. And then you can use a fresh finger to blend it. And you want to keep tapping it as opposed to pulling it.
And then how come again you're using fingers with this instead of brush?
Just
preference?
Yeah. Well, not even any other reason than that the brush that I have that I would usually apply isn't in my bag right now. But yeah, fingers are such an amazing tool for makeup. Because the warmth of the finger will actually make things melt into the skin a certain way. But yeah, this is such a nice finish.
It's nice mixing it with the oil because it smells really good too.
I know, the oil is so good, the superfood oil.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then obviously if you've got your décolletage out, you wear it on the décolletage as well.
Yep.
And then I'm just going to take a little bit of bronzer. This is the CoverFX in Sunset, and I'm just going to take a little bit on this Makeup Forever brush. Just really buff it into the bristles of the brush.
Okay.
This is good colour for you because you've got a lot of warmth in your skin, and this one's really warm. This would not
hanging
be
on
good
to
on
my
me.
tan.
Where, have you been on vacation?
Just over the summer, but I'm still trying to hang on to it as long as I can.
Nice. And then for bronzer, I really just like to not sculpt as much, just give like a little overall glow to the skin. But I do connect it to other areas. Like I wouldn't just do the cheeks. I'd go under the jaw and around the hair and into the hairline, and even in the eye as well. It would be really pretty with your eyeshadow brush.
Right.
Just because it connects everything and makes everything just look more like intentional. I do the same thing with blush.
Yeah.
Like, so I would take this. I'll take a large eyeshadow brush, and then I'll take it into the crease of the eye, which you've actually got the most amazing deep set eyes, but you've already got that shape that people would be trying to create with that trick.
Thanks.
Yes. All right, so I'll do your bottom lashes.
Okay.
Look up for me. So I think put your chin down a tiny bit, and then there you're good, and then look up. Great. So your bottom lashes you should always apply vertical.
How come?
Just gives you a lot more control.
Okay.
This way it's easier to mess up.
Yeah.
And a lot of people always say, how do I stop getting mascara on my lid when I'm doing my mascara? I always look down into a compact if I'm going to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Or you let it dry and then you buff it off with a dry old mascara one with no product on it, because it will just buff off the product or flick off the product, or a Q-tip.
Got it. Learning so much. What's been your favorite red carpet look that you've done?
The one that I did on that wasn't a red carpet look, actually. My favorite look that I've done for red carpet, again, is on Rosie, just because I've done so much red carpet with her, is for the Oscars last year, for the Oscars, for the Vanity Fair party. I'm just going to use a little bit of a pink cheek just to lift the skin. And it was just like really beautiful glossy skin and a lovely kind of eye, a bit like this, but in a different kind of colorway. She wore a gorgeous Ralph and Russo green dress, and she looked like just an angel. She is an angel.
She is. I mean, she's gorgeous.
Ooh, pink looks so good on your cheeks. So with blush, I like to take it elsewhere. I don't like to just keep it on the cheek. I like to kind of take a little bit over the lid, or just like in the temples, but only what's left in the brush. You literally don't need any more product. You just want to transfer the color in a few other places.
Okay.
Because if you pick up new product, then it's going to be a lot.
Right.
Which you don't want. So then I'm going to do a quick blurry lip, which a blurry lip I feel like I have to say this in an American accent. A blurry lip. Because if I say blurry lip in British accent, it sounds like I'm saying bloody.
Or bloody, yeah.
So this is just, it's such a good colour. It's called Tame from Urban Decay.
It's pretty
and I'm just going to take a little brush like this. And I'm doing a fluffy brush because it allows me to buff it on in such a way that allows me to push it outside of the lip line without looking like I've overdrawn the lip, but gives like a fuller pout in the most natural kind of way.
Okay.
So I'm just taking my brush at an angle and buffing it around the edges of the lip. And then don't rub together, just go. And then go like this. And I'll do the bottom. And you literally just want to keep the concentration of the product in the middle of the mouth as opposed to the corners. Because it being a fluffy brush, if you go too close to the corners, you can pull it too wide here, which would look weird.
Right.
You want to keep the height kind of, it's like when you look at kids, they've got a lot of volume in the center of their lips. And that's kind of like, I guess when people do lip fillers and stuff, that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to bring that volume back to their lips than what they had when they were children. But this is like a much more easier and less invasive way.
Right, totally.
And you just literally just press it on. Does it feel like I'm going right so far over the lip line?
Yeah.
It's so funny doing this on people because I can see their face and they're like, oh
what's
my God,
happening?
I've got crazy clown lips. But it literally just looks like your lips just a little bit more voluminous.
I like that.
For example.
Oh, I love that.
Like it doesn't look
so pretty.
overdrawn. It just looks
not
fluffy
at all. Yeah.
and soft.
I love that.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
Look in the mirror.
Oh my God, it looks so good. I love it.
Yeah, it's just like a really good, easy, fresh. Put your chin up a little bit, and then you'll see the texture of your eyes. And then if you go
Wow.
like this.
Oh, so nice.
It's so
Thank
fun.
you.
Yeah.
So pretty. I love it.
looks
Natural, glowy.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yeah, and you could throw on a red lip with this, and then it transitions to night.
I love this.
Yeah.
Katie, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
It's
I
so
will
fun to be
tell
here.
everybody where they can follow you.
Instagram at Katie Jane Hughes.
Awesome. Katie, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks everybody.